Talking about a quorum, did you ever hear from Kurt?
Still not, I did hear from Mike, he would not like to continue, so
Mike's
his appointment's over.
Okay, so Mike is off of the board. He let his thing not renew. But we haven't heard from Kurt in a while, so technically we have
Anybody?
one
think,
vacancy.
Mike, something for all the years he's been on
Soccer,
since
yeah.
about 80.
I hope it did.
So,
Can we send
Get a
Mike
little wetland plant,
Get him again.
put it down in the backyard.
for a thing?
Johnson, late
Got
70s.
brook runs right through his
I'll
yard,
talk
yeah.
to Jason about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you really should do something.
He's gonna-
He's been on it.
I'll talk to Jason too.
that's when we used to go out in the field and look at everything
Yeah.
before we had
Because
a,
how long have you been on the board?
I think it was early 80s.
Okay, yeah, so long time.
It goes back to Tex Molnite and Arnott Nuttall.
Oh, that's before that.
Even know those names, so.
I'll talk to him.
Text
so
him
she can
on.
coordinate it.
Him and Arnott. Oh, God.
And then let's try to get
Mr. Chairman.
answer from Kurt in some way, because
He was cool.
Yeah,
he really shouldn't be.
I tried email, I tried phone, I tried his wife, I tried.
Huh.
Patrick. He was smart.
Super.
Does anybody see or hear from Kurt ever?
No,
All right,
never know.
well, we'll keep trying.
Try.
So then
How many meetings has he
Any.
not attended now?
I think
like a
almost all
and a
year.
half. Yeah, definitely all year.
Most of
Yeah.
that, but three, but nobody.
Yeah, But- you can get a hold of him to tell him that, so.
Mine doesn't.
Um,
offer. Big long-
All right, so we are recording, we're good to go. Pledge allegiance.
It's the longest established of the quorum.
I pledge allegiance to the flag, of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We don't have any added agenda items, so moving on to approval of meeting minutes, I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes of November 6, 2024.
Second.
Any discussion or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
We have no new applications to be received. We have no public hearings, no continued public hearings, so moving to new business for IWWA 20-2024 for 140 Rear South Main Street for for permit to provide a 2-to-1 mitigation for our previous approved wetlands applicant owner Sherry God and Island Deep Farms, map block lot 42-563A. Come on up.
Hello, I'm Melissa Kaplan. I'm with the BSC Group representing IWWA Farms. I think you should have the information in front of you, I believe.
Everything.
If not, I did print extra. But as Rebecca said, this is for provide a 2-to-1 mitigation for wetlands that were filled on site, which you can see in here. And in the application, there is a table that shows, the impacts from the site changes as well as the fill. And the proposed mitigation plan, grading plan, but I'll jump right to the mitigation plan. We're going to be going into the field quite a ways here to provide a big mitigation area. As I mentioned at the last meeting, it was determined that this was going to be the best, most feasible place to put the mitigation. Because the other location we were looking at, the topography was so much that it would be just as much material as the fill that's placed, and it just wouldn't be feasible. So we're proposing a multi-layered planting plan with trees, shrubs and herbaceous areas, graded and kind of almost like a target down. And then the backside of the fill area, just to make sure nothing goes down into the wetland, will be kind of stabilized with riprap, and any extra material will be placed on that to kind of cap it as well, since, there is some material there from the fill. all native vegetation that will be planted, and we're proposing to monitor it for 2 growing seasons. Any questions? So it's pretty simple.
Nothing's gonna be pulled up from where they filled in over the hill.
Nothing's gonna be pulled up. There may be some slight little moving of material just to kind of, during the stabilization to get the riprap on top to, just on that backside, because right now it's kind of shelved, and it's still a little loose, and so we just want to, stabilize that backside.
How deep is that fill in that area? How far up on the bank? does it go?
That's a good question. I don't know, but it's a lot. Might be some photos in here. I think there's some photos, probably. It's not,
Like,
well, it's hard to tell. This is essentially the
30,000?
The entire area. He's just asking how high, like how
Well,
deep the
How,
fill
no,
is.
how deep is it over the bank?
Like, do you mean how far down does it into the ground, or does it how far up?
Well, how deep is it right on the slope?
Like like if I'm standing on the ground, how high is the slope?
How deep is
the
it?
depth of the fill.
How deep is the fill?
The fill. In the slope?
Above the
I don't know
original
how you.
wetland?
Above the original grade.
So how high is it?
Okay.
That's.
Yeah, let me see if I can look on the contours. I'm not sure.
I didn't see it anywhere in the report when I read it.
I know we've got some existing
But,
elevation.
but you have
Yeah.
here, and I don't know how you got the number, but you have 30,000 square feet filled well. So like, how
That's
did you
just-
come up with that without
That's the
knowing?
yellow
that?
area. No, square feet, not cubic feet.
Just square feet.
Yeah, I could probably get you the cubic feet. I just don't
Side by
have it off the
side.
top of my head. I don't know, actually, to be honest, I don't know if we're ever gonna be able to tell you exactly how much cubic feet. We don't know how much what the original ground elevation was
Yeah.
before the fill was. We get from some of the, maybe from the borings that they took for the monitoring, and we have some monitoring wells in that area. I could try to see if I can get that information, but I think it's hard to tell. And I know that in some of the emails I've sent, we had an approximation of how much cubic feet. So I know I have the information absolutely provided to you. If you want to put it as a condition, or just, I can get it to you.
It might have been filled before
I'm sure that.
this fill was there.
I don't think so. I mean, if you look at aerials, it looks like a perfectly good forested area. I don't know if it was
I
ever
grew up in
built.
that area. Everybody was throwing stuff over the bank.
Well, I mean, to be honest, actually, you might be right. This wetland right here, my soil scientist found that this is a buried wetland. This was not something that was sitting at the surface. So he dug down and saw that there is
Yeah.
old fill there, not from the recent, that it was old. So
He probably changed the grades there too.
that too,
Well,
yeah,
it might have been, yeah.
from the runway probably. That's what we think. We think this was,
You did.
It was probably steeper before.
yeah, we think that this was, yeah, side casted or from the agricultural activities from years and years ago. Well, it's hard to tell, but
Everybody had a backyard dump, all the farmers.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised what you'd find.
but I don't know what the existing conditions were here, because when we got there, it was already filled.
But this is, you feel is the best way to,
Yeah, I mean, we looked at everything else on the lot, we don't want to go too far from the wetland. And we've got some connection here, the little ditch here. We're partially in the floodplain, so it will get some, overland flow or even groundwater influence is what we're hoping to. So we don't want to go too far either.
No.
So, yeah, we just feel this is the best way. And, we're also, part of it was we're restoring there was an old culvert or something that went under this old runway, and it's gone, it's clogged or whatever.
that
So,
was there when it was just a farm.
right, so we're gonna have them put a new one
It
in.
took all the water that, the springs in that side hill.
Yeah.
And so the water would
the-
run down through.
Right, and you could tell that the pond has been impacted. It's overflowing. It's got bordering wetlands now. And so we'll reconnect that connection too, to also bring hydrology to the wetland to make sure it doesn't
Dug
dry out.
for irrigation. Tobacco years ago,
Yeah,
those ponds, I don't know about that one.
yeah.
None of,
It's right down through there.
both of those West Coast.
I'm sure I could look through one of my emails because I think we provided you an email.
I think,
with
yeah,
Danielle,
I think
how
we
much
definitely
cubic
had the
footage.
estimated cubic
Yeah,
footage in there.
I'm sorry, I don't have. I should have had it.
Any other questions?
This is basically what we discussed last month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Done a good job of it, really. Can't perform better.
So I'm looking at your page, it's not really a page number.
that map, yep.
In your report, the map, it's,
It's just things, yeah.
showing the rear wetland remediation. And so that's showing that area being forested. I'm looking on just Google Maps. And, you know, of course, it shows the actual fill area, right?
Yep,
I can't see it now, right there.
yeah.
And all these cars and whatnot down here. So as I look at this, you know, there's this line drawn and this is going to be the restoration area. What is going to prevent this area in, say, 10 years, since this is all hayfield, say it changes hands and the guy wants to do some more haying and he has giant loopholes for agricultural uses in wetlands and decides to make that hayfield again?
That's a good question. We could put up signage, we could, sure there's some sort of, we could put some, I'm not a real estate person, but I'm sure there's some sort of provisions or something you could put in
Yeah, I don't know if this
purchase of the
answers your
document.
question, but we've made a recommendation, and I don't know if that would precede any agricultural rules, but and add an environmental land use restriction to be filed with the town clerk on this property, so it would
Yeah, and
stay.
that's what I was.
Yeah.
I'd like to see
Yeah.
conservation easement recorded on the deed here, because otherwise, in 20 years, when we're all off doing more fun things, this is gonna be hayfield again.
Yeah.
There used to be maps,
Or something.
there used to be
Yeah.
maps that showed the floodplain.
Yeah,
It is
Yep.
floodplain, it still is, it still
And
is.
it comes up quite a ways up on that hill.
Mhm. Yep,
Yeah.
it's shown on this map, it's the.
I remember when they mapped it.
Area. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's a problem. We can have that done and then, you know, we could even, yeah, I mean, I think that's the best thing to do is to do that, and that would make sure. But I also know that, you know, farming or agricultural activities do have wetland provisions, but you know, if it is, it usually has to be actively farmed. And this isn't really actively farmed. So once it's becomes a wetland, it is still difficult to just impact it, even, I
Sure,
mean,
but I can, you know, I haven't been on as long as Mr. Osborne here or Mr. Saka, who we were just talking about, but I've been here long enough to hear all kinds of arguments after the fact, right? And the agricultural loophole is the biggest
Yeah.
sledgehammer we get hit with.
it is. I do work for the Connecticut Department of Agriculture, so I understand.
in reality, the hay don't grow in the wetlands, Al. At least not any good hay.
Well, this picture right here shows it was hay,
Pretty good.
not bad.
They grow it in the salt marshes.
Yeah.
Yeah, salt marsh hay.
I mean, that's why it's been agricultural land for, you know, ever since
That's what.
Europeans have been here, right?
I'll have to disagree with you on that one, though. There are a lot of farms that are farming wetlands. They
Yeah.
put tile drains in and they
Oh,
make it
yeah,
work.
yeah. I can show you some of those too.
Here in East Windsor are tile. You couldn't grow on them if you
Oh,
didn't.
yeah.
Yeah,
This town is all land tile.
yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that's
Yeah.
my biggest concern is that it's a conservation easement on the deed, so everybody knows. You can't just go back and make it a hayfield again or whatever.
That makes sense to me.
Especially after he spends this kind of money to.
Yeah, you don't want
Yeah.
Yeah.
to. Yeah,
I think that extra provision we got on the motion is gonna take care of this, Al.
No, it needs to be
Need to vote?
specifically, I want it specifically stated that it's a conservation easement and the flags, those signs go up. And there's a certain, they go up every so many feet and blah, blah, blah. We did it in Newbury. We did it in a few other
It
places.
has to be done by the person that's requests, the owner has to be the one that requests that it go into a conservation easement. The board cannot say, we're putting a
Right.
conservation easement on your land.
You're
We can't
absolutely right.
require
It's a good
that.
point. So I'm requesting it and I don't think I can agree or approve. it. I certainly can't vote for it without that kind of a protection, but.
We do have the language in the proposed motion, so
So is that something that the applicant agrees to?
it just stated as the environmental land use restriction.
Yeah, I want to see specifically.
I know you want to
Conservation.
say that, but can we say that? So if we just say this,
I'm
does
just saying-
that cover that?
No, that's pretty broad.
Conservation easement.
Can't,
We cannot.
no. They have to request.
Okay, well,
You guys, I honestly, the conservation easement, I'm not an expert on it in any ways. Do you know what kind of cost that is and all that, so I can advise my,
it's just the little placards that you put up and they have to be up so every 200 feet or something
Yeah.
like that. I don't know exactly.
little signs that say environmentally sensitive or conservation easement, right, or
Right,
something.
it says the little white sign with the blue thing and it says conservation easement area. So
But in terms of, yeah, we could put that, in terms of what's at the site, but I'm sure there's.
then it's
something-
recorded on the deed.
Okay, so it's
just
just like.
like what they're saying here.
$150 Recorded or something like that.
Yeah, so it's not like, yeah, it's not a big
Okay.
cost, I don't think.
Okay.
That's reasonable. That's what we need to do.
Certainly don't put them on the uphill side,
Yeah,
We only
no,
have to put them on one side.
just a little on the low side.
and there's a,
We don't-
and
we don't
I
need
don't,
to-
yeah, I don't know where it is, if it's in the statute or, but there's somewhere that says how to do it.
Yeah, I'm sure there
I
is.
can't remember because it's been a number of years before.
The
Okay.
po- the posts have to be a certain height and they're on.
Okay. Okay,
It's gotta be a certain sign. Usually the town furnished the signs, the actual sign.
yeah, in our town, we've
Yeah,
we've asked people to put up signs, but not actually
actually,
do
I said furnish the sign,
easement, so make sure I understood that.
Yeah, and that's
but you can't.
That's the whole thing, but it's like the two go together.
Yeah.
You have the signs there that show for people, so that they don't just go in there with a bulldozer. And then it's on the land record, so the next people that own the property, they're aware of it before,
Understood,
Mhm.
understood.
so, because eventually the signs will go by the wayside.
Signs will be gone before they sell it to you.
Don't say that.
Yeah, but we cannot require it.
Well, they're okay with it, so we're good.
I went through that with that subdivision of mine on East Road. They asked me for a conservation easement and I says, you want to buy it? And that was the end of that.
And we are gonna, I know this isn't, not necessarily related to the inland wetlands, but we are gonna go also get an approved site plan for the back side too, so that'll all be all in that as well.
Okay. I think that's all I had.
So if your next question was how will they prevent parking back there, that we're gonna also get an approved site too, so they'll have to restrict to their parking to the sign spot.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of felt like part of it would, seeing that parking there, that
Is that-
knowing that is there, if you have a dry year, you don't have all of a sudden, we're gonna park our tractor trailers there or whatever,
Picture he
Or,
held up
I mean,
was
and I'm thinking,
saying
I'm not thinking about
Larry's
who's there now, I'm thinking about who's there in
Future.
50 years, 75 years,
You know, Al, you said the cars parked. Larry Trouble leased that whole field a couple of years to park cars down there from Joe Roberts.
Years and years.
In the hayfield, up on the high ground.
So that's planning and zoning, that's a
Well,
different,
that's whatever.
So-
It was done.
That's
And that, if that's the picture you're looking at, that's not
no,
what's.
this is 2024.
No, that isn't done. That's this one here. But it has been all full of cars down.
Well, Larry had a building down there one time.
Well.
He had
still
cars
does.
down there.
He still does down on his.
Yeah.
All right, any more questions for them? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Yeah, I'm not, it needs
Ready?
worded. So I have a draft motion on your memo, but if you want to give me the exact wording for this conservation easement, I can,
I hate to change the wording too much.
I think leave what's
I
in
think we
there.
need to leave it pretty much alone.
I think we need to put the content, that the fact that it needs to be recorded here at this meeting, that the landowner agreed to conservation easement. And we need to put that in the
You
motion.
can't put that.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
So,
I would make a motion to approve Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Association 20-2024, 140 rear South Main Street. Request for permit to provide 2-to-1 mitigation for previously filled wetlands. Applicant owner is Sherry Gaudet, Island View Farms, MBL 042-05-063-A, with the following standard conditions, in addition of an environmental land use restriction, specifically a conservation easement agreed to by the applicant to be filed with the town clerk's office.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
yeah, I don't like the way it says so standard conditions, you should list them 1 through 14. And condition that is added should be number 15, not just blank.
Okay, I will take that friendly amendment. You second that?
I'll second.
Or instead of making it a separate line item to say additional, just make it number 15.
One
What?
through
what
14,
is that?
the addition of 15, which is.
Yep, I get you.
Yeah, it's fine.
And it's done, it's legal, hopefully.
Yes, agreed. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have no old business. We have nothing for miscellaneous, agent reviews and decisions.
just 256 Scantic Road, where you had previously approved on IWWA 15-2023. You approved a barn and he's putting a storage container right next to it. So we made an alteration on his site plans in the same upland review area. And then 34 Rise Street, IWWA 19-2024, a 40 by 24 garage addition to the existing home, partially in the upland review area.
You have wetlands there?
Yeah, I don't have wetlands there. Your stupid map has wetlands there. There's enough that we could find.
I want to discuss 256,
Okay,
because on here, he's got possibly, that's the site. Right on the map. It doesn't say definitely that's the site. Look at that little map that you can't read.
Which one?
That's 256.
You have to have a magnifying glass. Possible building area. The building in the front to the right.
256. This, all of this was already approved with his other application. The only thing that's different on this is that red circled area. So all the rest of the map was part of his first approval.
And that's in the upland review area?
Yeah.
And that's where he ran the sewer line across the road? There's a bump in the road now?
I can't read this, so far.
6 gotta be way down.
That's Grisden, the old Grisden.
Can I read that writing?
Yeah, there's, yeah, he did, he had to. go-
storage container added 11,
Carter.
Oh, yeah, well,
13.
that's what I put, but that,
But
I mean, if there are questions about the rest of the site plan, that,
because he's got kind of a mishmash of buildings around there.
Mhm.
Now,
We don't.
and, you know, I don't know.
there's nothing in the last one about this house being approved, but this is literally the same map that was given for his barn, which is behind the red circled area.
That's a big barn. That's a big storage container.
Yeah.
That's a big-
Back in 2023.
But that is where he's putting it.
Yeah.
In the front to the left, where that circle is, or this circle.
No, he's putting it in here. This is where,
Oh,
that's where it goes.
Yeah.
This is all the original stuff that he's not, that was already approved apparently. This is what he's looking for right there.
oh, that's where the old tobacco shed
I
was
think you used an old
years ago.
survey one.
That's Grisden's, yeah.
Because it was then after, there should be Pagano next door.
I brought the original folder.
North, it is.
No, yeah, I think it's good now.
You're down too far. Look at them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Are you
Now,
good?
it's now or formerly some partnership. No, that's the Grosvenor.
That's, there was two Grosdens.
No,
You're George, right?
no, George's brother, Richie.
Oh, Richie.
Georgie owned one part and Richie owned the other.
So are you good on that one, Rick?
Hmm?
Are you good on that one?
Yeah, I guess if they think it is, I mean,
Yeah, container isn't. problem here.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
yeah, but that isn't what he
Oh,
said.
yeah, they'll eventually rust away.
Like my dad's.
150 years.
So it's aluminum, not a third-rate powder.
Look at the application. On slab, no septic service, proposed building envelope 60 by 60 and add 40 by 8 feet storage container.
Yeah, and that's those two things up on that map.
So he's gonna build a 60 by 40 building.
Yeah.
That was,
And
that was already approved.
Barn that was.
Oh. Oh, I see.
That one was already
Overlap.
approved.
and so this is what he's looking for, is just to add the,
Never, how come this came through and that never came through?
Oh, that came through.
It was part of the original.
2023.
This is part of this one. This is from 2023.
It didn't come before the wetlands, did it?
And
Yeah,
Must have been
it did.
an agent decision or?
Yeah, because it was in
Oh,
the
okay.
entire, it's got the, I got the original map.
Yeah.
I think I wanted to it's better.
So was this built?
That's been built, yeah.
Yes, that's what he's asking about.
Yeah, that's been there. That's built.
Right.
Is it right in there?
So did he already
Guess.
add it to there or?
They gotta.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
it's,
it's-
that's the building permit in
Okay.
the system,
I'm just
Okay.
saying,
because he was all.
Beals. Have Beals?
Oh,
Remember
Beals over
that,
there.
that house?
Yeah.
There's a driveway going right out, and you know what, the whole piping and everything for the home sewer and everything goes right through there.
Oh,
Not a piece of silt fence anywhere to be seen. I don't know how that one got by. But it did,
Was
yes.
yeah.
last November.
Yeah, I'm all right with it.
2023.
Okay. All right, moving on to violations for 34 through 36 Newberry Road,
Yes, so
corrective order plan.
I'm working with Mr. Wayne Silva Jr. Actually, and Melissa helped advise on a little bit of this. We haven't compiled the entire plan yet. They do have wood chip berms around the entire perimeter of both properties. And so with Melissa's help, we're working on a list of shrubs and plantings for that finger of wetlands that's on 34. And since they can't plant anything right now anyway, I said, look, get through the holidays and then we'll present a.
Okay.
You met with them then?
The what?
You met with them?
With Mr. Silva. Yeah.
So,
Oh, and I talked to Melissa about the plantings,
Yeah.
and I said we would go over all of them.
Yeah.
With after the holidays, so.
And you can't really,
can't do much
do
now.
anything
anyway.
this time of year.
Right, yeah.
Just stabilize it and do it in the spring.
Well, it's
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
there.
Sorry, Steve.
Best thing to do is leave it the heck alone and stay off it.
No conference seminars or trainings, correspondent.
Well,
Oh,
actually, that's.
that's
why.
great.
Sorry, they added this came to us.
This came in the mail today.
Or not today, but.
I got it today.
Can I use yours?
I just gave it to Ellen.
Okay, yeah, so this was, they do this every year. It's a land use law. It's an 8-hour training session. It's Saturday. I did it last year. It was really informative. It's a bunch of attorneys that each do special sections of procedure and interests with the different commissions. It was kind of geared a little bit more toward the planning and zoning, but I mean, it's for all commissioners. So if anybody's interested, there is a website you can register on. It's $60. And then they give you copies of all the materials, so you at least have it for your records. I don't know, it was just something I found interesting. If anyone else does.
Yeah, I've been to this a couple of times.
And that's in
Oh,
March.
it's Jan-
Yeah,
March
March.
too.
I mean, it's all virtual, so you can put it on your Zoom and.
We went to one that was over there in Windsor Locks, that was a little one. This is the
Those
big one.
ones
They
are-
give you, end up with a book like this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She went before. to the
Yeah.
Big one.
Yeah, a couple times, yeah.
And now she was a lawyer that came for us for Newberry Village, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, Janet Brooks and.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And she's speaking here at this too, about environmental interventions, which I was looking for her, the last time she gave that, she came here and talked about that for us, and she gave us a bunch of like how to do, like if you're having a public hearing and somebody tries to intervene, how that all goes, you know, to do it legally and everything. I cannot find that, so I'll go get another copy.
Okay.
Huh?
We went through one of those interventions.
You did,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Were you here then?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that was down there in Ketch Brook,
yep,
down the hollow.
yep. And then also there was an intervener. It's Ketchbrook and,
John Thompson it was.
yeah, and then there was another intervener for another one. I can't remember. I think there was an intervener for Newberry. They were not granted though, I don't think.
Hmm.
But anyway, there's rules and all kinds of little
Yeah.
things and it's a,
You almost need a lawyer.
yeah.
In the board,
Need three lawyers to figure it out, so.
yeah.
All right, so that's all we have for that was conference seminars and trainings. We do have one thing for correspondence for solar farm approval, Justin
Yeah.
Jason of East Windsor on 379 Scannick Road. It's in South Windsor, but
Yep.
on the line, so.
Yes, Draghi Farm, Draghi. I know.
Is this their row crop or was this where their orchard was?
Well,
Was that
I
Draghi
think that
Farms?
Draggy, yeah, that's up a ways.
Yeah, this one.
It is Draggy's farm.
Yeah.
I just don't know which part of the farm.
What are they gonna do? Start them in there?
Here's
Yeah.
the highway
Last
and
page.
here's.
Orchard over here, right?
It's almost down to the,
Tomatoes.
to be the peel.
The-
But then he's got like.
Yeah, but
tomatoes
there's,
and-
I think all the apples are back here, I think.
it's so bad.
Geez,
It's in South Windsor.
Right.
yeah, that is, blueberries and that are over in here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so,
Orange.
This is
Should
where
show
we
the
have-
barn.
Well, they have to notify us. I think we are able to.
This is,
We're within 500.
Oakwood.
We wanted to, but it's not.
Let's go down here, it's a swimming hole down here.
It used to be.
March 20th, it's a Saturday. Why do
It
they?
was here,
Oh,
Yeah, it's,
small.
I didn't grow shit in it.
There's like
Yeah.
weird little pockets.
yeah, and it all runs down.
Oh, yeah, that's wetter than a
Well,
IWWA.
this is on the side hill, isn't it?
Yeah, but
Kinda.
you'd be shocked how much water, how wet.
Yeah, in the
that
spring,
place
it's
is.
like a brook coming out of there.
Oh, yeah. Walk in
Okay, yeah,
here,
I
you
got
better have
that.
hip boots in the springtime.
Their website didn't send out, but it's a letter, but no.
Used to be.
oh, okay.
So I was
I
like,
mean,
well, let's
it's-
look at this.
It's not in our jurisdiction.
Yeah,
so.
I know.
Yeah,
Made this,
Okay.
this one look
Just so everyone's there in case
Uh,
people in town wanna know.
well, she was, little people.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, we don't need to do anything with this, it's just letting us know because they're in proximity, so, moving on, any general board discussion? All right, any public participation? Guess not. Nothing for, executive session, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? 7:33.
Who, motion,
I was-
I'll motion.
Oh, I just got a text from Ruth at 7:16 to let her into the meeting.
Oh, no.
You can stop the meeting now.
10 house. there on
Oh, yeah, East, or not East Reservoir.
Reservoir, and,
Yeah,